Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the texture of our paper and why it's important. We don't want the smooth Bristol. It's just too smooth to really have the pencil come off as we make a line on our paper and have it become a consistent value. When it's smooth, it's good for maybe hard pencil lines, pen and ink, a few other things, but it doesn't really give us the opportunity to have the full range of values that we would like to have for this technique. These are like hills and valleys, and as you go across the terrain as you're drawing, it scrapes the lead off and it actually adheres to the paper. I want to be able to utilize the texture to my benefit. There's a lot of things that I don't want to have to draw, and it would be silly if I did. I think the side that we're going to use is just perfect if you build the drawing up the way I'm going to suggest to simulate pores and just a natural skin texture. Things that you really wouldn't notice if you were going up and looking at a picture. You'd say, oh, isn't that wonderful? There's pores on this picture. No, but there are things that our minds expect to see, and they see without us thinking about it. And if it's a different kind of a surface than is normal, red flags go up and it just doesn't look natural. But I don't want to have to draw pores. So the texture of the paper actually makes a huge difference. We'll get a close-up of this here so that you can see that the texture is really just about like pores, or at least enough of an illusion. And that's what's going to happen on our pictures, is we're going to create a lot of illusions that your mind accepts it as natural, vibrant, and alive. And if I had to go ahead and do pores, if I put down a tone, and when I'm finished with that, I'm saying, well, this needs pores, and then I went in there and I tried to draw all these little dots, it would just be ridiculous. And it would look stupid. It'd look more like a whole face full of blackheads or something. So I really want to be able to, again, have some of these things happen naturally so that they're distributed well, and it has all the flow and grace that I want in my picture. If I want a heavier texture, there are some things that I can do. Here is an example of utilizing the texture of the paper and the side of the pencil, which I wouldn't normally do except when I want to. And that is those are some of the things that I want to really stress, that there will be a few exceptions to how we're going to apply the pencil, but I want it to be because you decided that's what you were going to do, and not just have it happen any way it happens to happen. I want you to have control over your drawing. But taking the side of the pencil over this texture was able to create and assimilate this felt, suede look. There's a lot of fun things you can do if you know how to handle the texture and the materials you're working with. So that's one of the exceptions. Now, again, it's all an illusion. The fact that that texture is on that hat is actually the opposite of the way it would actually really work, because as I use the side of a pencil and I'm creating a texture, it's actually putting the dark on the top of the mountains. Remember, we have hills and valleys, so it's actually scraped off on the high points, and the low points are what is getting, it doesn't have any graphite on it. And that's kind of the opposite of what would really be the case. We'd think that the high points, if we were looking at an actual hat, would be the parts that are the highlights, and the recesses would be the darks. But we know, our minds have seen these things, our whole lifetime, all these different textures. And so what it is perceiving when it looks at it is what it will see. And again, it's an illusion, but we're actually working in a negative. But this is a fun thing to be able to have the opportunity to do, is to be able to create textures when I'm doing something different than I normally would.